What's up, everybody? Welcome into another edition of the Hoops Betting Hour, powered by Pickswise and presented by FanDuel. It is Selection Sunday, Championship Sunday. Before that, lot still to hash out in college basketball. We're coming off a great Saturday. It's going to be a great Sunday. Daylight savings time is here. That means it's not going to get dark till like 7 o'clock and then like 9 o'clock. We still do that here in America. I'm not sure why, but we still do it. I'm the big man on campus. He is Donnie Rightside. Donnie, we weren't able to experience Selection Sunday last year. We were mired in despair 1 year ago today. How you doing? I'm feeling good.
The bid Steelers are out there, Jeff, and yes, it is early, but I'm refreshed and ready on a Sunday, Selection Sunday. We got some pretty good basketball games to talk about, and the interesting part about that, and I should say the good part about that as well, Jeff, we have plenty of time to hit these games, go over the ins and outs, and have some fun. But as I started yesterday, if you follow me on Twitter, it's now that time of year to take the points and pray because the upset specials are here. We're looking at scores. What just happened in this basketball game? What was that final score? How did this team win? Welcome to March Madness.
Yeah, it's interesting. I think in the big conferences, I agree with you, but I'll tell you, in some of these smaller conferences, the blowouts have been on. I mean, there were some Grand Canyon rolled. There were some big blowouts last night. North Texas, that game was crazy. We got all sorts of games this day that we'll recap. We'll get into the 5 championship games today. Let me read them off. What do we got? Big Ten, SEC,
American,
Patriot, and then the Atlantic 10, which the Atlantic 10 should have been like 2 weeks ago. We're still worried about who's going to win the A10, crazy enough, but that's been scheduling. Welcome into the show. As always, we've been here for 7 days. We started the show last Monday. Actually 6 days. Tomorrow will be a week, but we've been here every day. We taking you through the conference tournaments, taking you through the daily cards. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. You don't want to be anywhere else in March. As you know, whether it's Donnie or whether it's me, we are giving you the best in college basketball information. I can't wait to break down the brackets early next week, get into some of the playing games, and then get into the NCAA tournament. We'll be with you along the way. Make sure you hit the subscribe button. Make sure you hit the like button as well so you don't miss any show. Donnie, yesterday, it was Saturday, usually a big card. It was cool because as we went over on the show, it wasn't one of those gigantic cards. You knew what you had. You knew what you were betting. It was mano-y-mano. Either one team's gone, one team's not. But as you said, the big story yesterday were the bid Steelers, and one of them happened real late night. Down in the Pac-12, it just goes to show you what an embarrassment. Not that Oregon State doesn't deserve it. They won it, whatever. But come on, Pac-12. Oregon State. You couldn't do better than that.
And there's no juice for it. That's the issue. Like, we don't mind the bid stealing like the Mid-American Conference or, one of those teams that you didn't think was going to get in, or the Missouri Valley, or, whatever conference it might be. But there's a reason why I personally, for a decade, don't pay any attention to the Pac-12 in football or basketball because they're usually irrelevant once they get places. But it's late at night, and give me a reason to show up, Jeff. I would rather Mountain West, to me, is a far superior basketball conference than the Pac-12. I saw that score when I woke up today, and I said, that is so Pac-12, Jeff. It hurts that Oregon State, look, not pick to win like, they'll be 7th in the conference, 5th. Dead last in the conference, they're getting a bid. Get out of here, man.
Yeah, it was such a disaster, too, because, Colorado really just shot themselves in the foot. I mean, they missed 8 free throws. Now, keep in mind that this is the best foul shooting team in America. They missed 8 free throws. Oregon State, this is a team that lost to Portland. Not the Blazers, the Pilots. With Terry Porter, a guy that won
talk about how many games did he win in the West Coast Conference? Forget about it. The dude was 1-50, and they're beating him.
I think in his 6 years there, he won 2 or 3 games in conference. It was crazy. He literally won 12 games his entire career.
Yes.
Crazy.
Yes.
This is a team that lost to Wyoming. I mean, just dreadful stuff. But here we are, and I have no juice on seeing Oregon State in the NCAA tournament. That is the game I would just automatically pick whoever's playing them.
I mean, it is crazy when you take a look at here. But we got a lot of stuff to go over today on the Hoops Betting Hour with Jeff Nadu, powered by Pickswise and also presented by the FanDuel Sportsbooks, because let's get into some recaps. And there are some interesting ones, because I'm just going to go down this list, Jeff. Upset City, LSU over Arkansas. Houston barely escapes. Georgetown destroys Creighton in the Garden.
Whoa.
Ohio over Buffalo. Georgia Tech over Florida State, and then Oregon State over Colorado. Some real eye-opening scores, but the one I tweeted last night while I was at dinner, I had to look 3 times that I wasn't looking at the women's Big East final as an accident. Georgetown clobbered Creighton, Jeff.
Yeah, that was
man.
Wow. That was something. I mean, you're right. It wasn't even a close game. It won by almost won by 30. I mean, they couldn't miss. Just a dreadful, dreadful game for Creighton. And listen, Ewing said it best. I think yesterday was the anniversary of Thompson being hired at Georgetown. 49 years ago yesterday, John Thompson was hired at Georgetown, and it was kind of a fitting thing. The pupil becomes the teacher. I talked about it yesterday. What a great group of coaches there. And Ewing has just turned in. I know we had our talk about him on Friday's show with his, like you said, the big timing or whatever, but the guy can coach, man. He gets those kids to, that's not easy. The Big East wasn't great this year, but it's not easy to win games the way they did. So many games. I mean, basically 4 games in 4 nights, against some really good teams. And then you just dispatch Creighton like that. They're going to be a tough out, man, in the NCAA tournament, because they have a really terrific group that can shoot. They're big down low. And they have a coach that's on cloud 9 right now. That's going to be a fun group to watch for sure.
He seems to be able to recruit well, but I guess the issue was with so much high-level talent leaving the program over the past year and a half, you figured what's going to take place. So maybe, as we talked about, the Big East is better, Jeff, when Georgetown is a factor. It's like when you look in like football, basketball, college football, when you have these big-time schools that there's more intrigue when it happens. Hopefully those kids now can see, hey, I can go to the NCAA tournament at Georgetown. We can be really good and win championships, because when Georgetown is good, the rest of the Big East is a lot more fun. Great stuff to watch yesterday. And it's one of those games, Jeff, where now you head into the tournament like, what Georgetown team am I getting? Am I getting this team on a surge, or am I getting the team early on in the Big East?
It's really crazy, man, too, because like, when I talk about Ewing, like, I don't think people understand the team he had last year compared to the team he has this year. I mean, Mac McClung is gone. Omar Yurtseven left the team. I mean, he had 3 or 4 players, Donnie, that were involved in a situation off the court.
Who was the other kid, the real high-rated guard that left and went west? Who was that? Yes, there you go.
Yeah, I mean, you lose him. I mean, they literally have a brand new team outside of 1 or 2 guys. It's incredible. It really is. It's quite the coaching job. Quite the coaching job. Good for Patrick Ewing. He's arrived.
No, certainly. And Jansen says, Donnie, I'm not familiar with Colgate. How good are they? As Tony the Tiger would say, Jeff, they're great. And we'll certainly be able to get into that.
Again, we have 5 games. We'll get into that for sure.
We'll have all of those. But just talking about what happened yesterday and going over some intricacies of going down. I thought FSU would give Georgia Tech problems, but that old adage that goes, Jeff, well, they already beat them a few times. You can't beat them a third time. BS. You beat a team twice. You love to play them again because you want to beat them a third time. What an impressive showing by Georgia Tech, now officially in the tournament. And I was surprised. Look, I know the line was still low. It wasn't like it was a 10-point line as we talked about yesterday where it's going to be an easy victory. What a nice win for Georgia Tech as they get into the tournament. But also, Jeff, we're talking a lot of recaps here. So I want to set the stage because the NCAA is a marketing machine and they do want to make money. We saw a team that we don't have to say the name of that said, we're out of the tournament. We're done for the year. And some back channels were working. And a source came out and said, you know what? If Duke gets a bid here, they'll go. How about that?
If they get in, please, college basketball for the most part has been untouched by this nonsense. Please don't do that. Please. Please don't do it. I know they want to. I know it's just sitting there on a silver platter. It's like a T-ball. It's just sitting there. It's like a big juicy fastball. I know you just want to hit it out of the park. Do one time. Don't steal it. Please don't do this to me.
I saw that article yesterday, and I do a lot of videos during the week, and one of my videos was I'm not going to be surprised. And it was really ingesting a joke by saying, we're going to dip out because we don't think we can beat Florida State, right? So we're going to dip the net, and then I'll use the back channels and go, well, if we would have beat Florida State, there was a really good chance we were getting in. Did you see Georgia Tech? They beat Florida State. We could have beaten them. We deserve an honest effort. And hey, by the way, if we don't get on Selection Sunday, but a team has to drop out, we'll still drop into this tournament and see if we can play and get a couple wins. I thought it was hilarious to see because that's not a lower level guy. That's Mike Krzyzewski's influence in contacting people saying, hey, I know we said we were out, but watching these games unfold over the next couple of days, if you want to put us in, we'll go, Jeff.
Okay. Yeah. Nothing would make us happier than them not getting it. No, don't do it. By the way, you talk about juice. You talk about a game yesterday that I had no juice on was that Florida State Georgia Tech game.
Yeah.
Just no interest. I'll tell you right now, if you won money on an ACC future, you should give it back. That's a joke. I mean, I'm serious. It should have been a push. Seriously, on all bets in any conference that teams are opted out in. I think you should have to give your money back. It should be a push on all teams.
Yeah, it's a tough one for the books too because they're supposed to honor those tickets, which they do, and then if your team dropped out, you got your money back. It's just most other tournaments, including like golf. Like if your guy just withdraws in the second round, you ain't getting your money back. That's an L. So
it's a weird precedent because I'm not rooting for books or anything, but it's like So Georgia Tech beats two teams and wins a title, but Georgia has to win 4 games and wins a title. Like I don't know. It's just kind of.
It's an odd year, but also good news on the horizon, Jeff. I saw through Twitter this morning that the deadline has already passed for teams to say we don't want to play. Which who was going to say that anyway, right? Except Mike Krzyzewski, who's on the outside looking in. Nobody was going to be like, hey, you know what? Like, did you expect Gonzaga to come out with a press statement and go, you know what? I don't know if we're going to be able to do this here and play in this tournament. Get out of here. All these teams are full go, ready to blast off. And tonight is that night. And the good part, again, about this show is we have 50 minutes. We'll hit these 5 games. But we're going to talk about, like, who's in, who's out, who we're rooting for to set up. Yeah. And we weren't supposed to be on, to be honest with you, with days in the NCAA tournament where there weren't any games. Do you know how much fun tomorrow's Monday morning show is going to be when we see the brackets out? We had a night to digest it. All the new futures pour through. We're going to be picking a couple of futures and try to ride those out through the tournament tomorrow. So I'm really looking forward to tomorrow's Monday show. So if you guys are like, hey, guys, no basketball, I'm not going to tune in. Turn on that notification bell because 9 a.m. we are going to be firing and excited for this tournament, Jeff.
Yeah, a lot to break down, a lot to get to. Breaking out the brackets is one of the best things to do. And, Donnie, once we're done with the recap, before we get into the games, we'll go over if a team were to get coronavirus or something, what will go on in the NCAA tournament. I'll go over that with you. Donnie, I want to bring something up. Shout out to a couple of teams that made the NCAA tournament that weren't bid stealers. They just won their conference. Grand Canyon winning the NCAA tournament. They were the little brother to New Mexico State for a lot of years under Dan Marley.
Yes.
They fired Dan Marley, bring in Bryce Drew. What a hire. They were the best team all year in that conference. People don't realize that's a school that is for profit, a different way than most are. They're like a stock exchange company. They put a lot of money into that program, into those athletic facilities. It's cool that they're able to get into the NCAA tournament. That's a cool team. It's a cool team to root for. Good for Georgia or for Grand Canyon. And also, Donnie, I've watched thousands of basketball games in my life, and I don't think you watched this game, and I'm not going to rehash everything that went on. But North Texas, West Kentucky was the weirdest game I've ever watched, and I mean that.
I saw your tweet coming out in the second half. And yes, look, we always have full transparency. Jeff is going to talk about he won his game. I lost mine. I went to bed last night and woke up and said, right when I opened up and looked at the phone, I go, I got a good chance at winning this. It was a slow start for Nicholls State in the first half, but they played well in the last 5 minutes to get up to 31 points. 36-31 at the break. Close game, exactly what I wanted, with a chance in the second half. They scored 14 points. But you know what I also saw when I woke up, Jeff? Another team scored 14 points in the second half. Who was that?
Yeah, Donnie, with 1 minute left in the second half, they had 9.
Exactly. I saw your tweet, so I immediately started like filtering through, and I saw the struggle. Like, oh, they can't even score. I'm saying and I didn't actually know the final score or the second half score out of North Texas. Who I saw today, And if I would have told you, Jeff, you're going to get 14 points in a half of basketball, you'd have said, I'm not even watching. How much money do I owe you? But you pulled out the victory, which is the main thing, and kept the show at an even level for us yesterday after our 2-0 day the day before. Good work by you.
Well, thank you.
That's what you're here for.
Yeah, thank you. And North Texas was great the last 2 days. Donnie, they jump into a 17-0 lead.
Yes.
They're only up 11 at the half, and I'm thinking, come on, man, you should be up 20, stupid turnover. And then you just see the lead, boom, 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 going away. And I'm thinking, they're tired, they're going to run out of juice, this is it. Then at one point, they're 3 for 28 in the second half. I mean, and the crazy thing was, West Kentucky never got any separation, really. It was only like a 5-point game at the worst. But, yeah, they ran it out. Going to overtime and then win, what a crazy, crazy win. That is one of those teams going to knock out Villanova, North Texas now, but they're going to knock out Villanova, mark my word. If they get Villanova in a bracket, they are knocking Villanova out.
Just get into a rock fight with them. Yep. Slow it down. Keep it ugly. It's funny because I know you love the fact, and you talk about this a lot, neutral courts, teams that play lights out defense, regardless of how their offense goes, they always will have a chance. So when you jump out to that big lead and say, North Texas is just going to lock the back door here and I'm going to get a victory, and you still got to go through the sweats. But again, none of that matters. It's the end of the game. What was the result? And it was a W.
It's one of those games where you look at it and you say, how the hell is this game going into overtime after scoring? What was it? You said 14 points?
14 points in the second half they scored, yeah. Yep.
Crazy.
Unbelievable stuff here. Well, we're going to continue and go right down this rabbit hole day, a fun Sunday. Guys, thanks for joining us today because a lot of you, just like us, are waking up an hour earlier than we anticipated, but still able to rock and roll here on Championship Sunday. But we're also talking about picking games, lines, what to do here, and also, is the big man on campus really as good as college basketball as we think he is? Well, put it to the test here, Jeff. The Pickswise Capper Contest is a winner-take-all event that will be taking place throughout the March Madness tournament, which is now here officially as of tonight. 9 experts will give their best bets each and every day of the tournament. The experts in this tournament, John Rothstein, Rashard Phillips, Megan Making Money from the FanDuel Sportsbook, and also Jeff Nadu from the Big Man on Campus Betting Hour right now. And we are going to get all the way through this tournament. One spot available, though, Jeff. And this contest, you could be like Jeff. People watching right now can get in a contest, get in the spotlight with you, pull down $10,000. And you know what? It's free at this point to enter. Head over to the Pickswise Twitter, retweet the contest, and reply with why you want the spot. It's simple. And below, Jeff, a description that's going to display exactly what goes on. But let me get this straight. It's free. You can get some spotlight, and you can win 10 grand. Why aren't these people signing up? And if you did not, get in here.
Yeah, every person should.
Come on.
I mean, if you've watched the show, whether it's on the rerun or live, go over to the Pickswise contest, retweet it, post why you think you should be in it, and get yourselves in the contest, and maybe you can win. Maybe you'll be the next budding
man on campus.
Yeah. And you'll even win some money along with it. Most of these guys on Twitter just do it for free. I mean, you could actually win some money by doing it. Good stuff. Donnie, a couple other things real quick. That final possession by Michigan yesterday was awful. I mean,
there was a lot of them yesterday in the last minute that was questionable yesterday. There was.
Yeah, and you tweeted it. So true. Like, why are these kids like? I guess because it's a Steph Curry effect.
There you go.
These kids want to be Stephen Curry. They want to step back and do these crazy. Listen, you're not Stephen Curry. Okay, you can't make a shot from behind the basket with your eyes closed. Off a cheerleader. You can't do that. Stop with this stupid isolation crap. Get it. Hunter Dickinson's been the best player at Michigan all year.
Yeah.
And he's not involved in the last play. Give me a break. Ohio State served it up again. That's what they do. They leave the back door open again when they're in games. Michigan didn't play well, but they had a chance to steal it. And now, Donnie, they're limping into the NCAA tournament. To me, is the most vulnerable 1 seed I've seen because Livers not having him hurts. I mean, any way you swing it, that's a rough way. And he still could have won yesterday. A couple other things. How about your boys from the MAC, Donnie?
Yeah.
Ohio.
Running, man. Outrunning an impressive run, man.
Talk about another blowout. Listen, they beat Kent State, who's pretty good. Toledo, who was a wagon all year. And then Buffalo, who knocks you in the mouth. Jason Preston, man, good player. And good for Jeff Bowles. That's a hell of a win for that program. They're heading to the NCAA tournament. And there was one other thing I wanted to mention. Oh yeah, that's all I'm going to say. Get what? Those horns up, baby.
Oh yeah,
Texas gets the job done. What did we say, Donnie? That was the best handicap of our show yesterday. Not the best bets.
Yes.
Texas can't beat Oklahoma State. They're going to the Final Four.
Look at that line. This line makes no sense. Easy winner. You know what? I'm not even taking the points here.
Money line. What did we say? Nah, I think they probably won by 10. They didn't win by 10, but they won. How many did they win by?
They won by enough to cover. 5. Yeah. By the way, your point is very valid on the end of game situations. I'm in my 40s, and we don't have to go back that long. Like, when did it stop, Jeff, where at 10 seconds to go, you use your point guard to dribble, drive, get penetration, either get a layup, get fouled, draw a double team, and kick it out for a wide open jumper? When did it turn on? There's 5 seconds to go. I'm going to dribble around the 3-point range and just run into 2 guys and throw up a double clutch 3-pointer when I don't even need a 3-pointer to tie the game, win the game, or send it into overtime. Because even watching the Wichita State game, Jeff, they inbounded with like 8 or 9 seconds to go on their own baseline, did some weird pass in the backcourt, but the kid was like, I need a 3 here. Like, no penetration, just ran around the top crest and fired up an awful 3. And I'm going, coaches, I don't know. Did they dumb it down? Like, do we not have games planned out? Are we not saying, hey, get to the rim, you'll get fouled and get to the line? When did we just settle for a double clutch 3-pointer with 2 guys defending us? And you're not down 3.
I also will never understand this whole thing. If you're down in a game, why are you taking it to the last second?
Yes.
Like, you have Dickinson. Somebody's saying that in the chat. Like, I don't get that. Like, if you missed a shot and you don't score that, you're not going to win.
It's over. You lost. At least if you miss a shot with 8 seconds to go and foul, you are still in the game. It makes it like it comes down to the same end of the game situations. Would you rather, Jeff, if you're a coach, it's a tie ball game, a wide open 15-foot jumper with 7 seconds to go, or a double clutch 3-pointer at the buzzer? Did I miss something?
Donnie, also, I have to say this publicly again. Dick Vitale must retire. This guy is out of control.
I actually had the game on my TVs. I didn't have the sound on, but you weren't the only one getting upset. In case anybody missed it, like myself, missed it live. What did he say?
This is not the first time that he's done this, okay? He is obsessed, Donnie. When a team is up 3, no matter what the situation is on the last play, he is obsessed with fouling.
I agree with that, though. But what was he saying?
But again, you don't foul if the team's shooting 30% from 3. Like, so yesterday, what was it?
Tennessee, right?
Yeah, it was Tennessee, Alabama.
Yeah.
Tennessee's down 3.
Mm-hmm.
They're coming down. The kid gets a shot at the tie, and it grazes the bottom of the rim, but it almost looks like it went in. But it was weird.
I did see that. Yes.
He thought it went in. He goes, "You got a foul!" And the guy goes, "Oh, it's an air ball." And Dick and he thought it went in.
Oh, wait a second. Were they in the arena for this, or were they at home?
They were at home.
Oh man, yeah, that's bad.
No, but Vitale thought it went in, and he's screaming, "You got a foul!"
Yeah, so he's usually used to being in the arena where it's like hand given to you, and now he's at home watching, and he's blind and getting old. Oh, so, man.
You don't really know if it went in or not, but it did look like it went in a little bit, but any guy with eyes saw it didn't go in, and it's like...
Did he try to play it off, or did he apologize?
Yeah, he still kind of tried to play it off, and it's like, it's all about percentages, Donnie. If you're playing Colgate or like, a team that can shoot. I hear your point on that, but I disagree, because if you foul, you win the game automatically. If you don't foul, they can make a shot. So if you have under 5 seconds to go, I foul 1,000%. I'm not going to say you don't.
I don't even care. I don't even care if you're 0 for 40 from 3. If you foul, you win. It's over. If you don't foul, there's a chance you go to OT.
Right, but here's my thing. You either play it out and they miss and the game's over.
Yeah.
And a bad shooting team, you have percentages that they will miss.
Yeah.
Or you foul and give them another opportunity to maybe, because again, offensive rebounds are easy. Maybe they do it and tip it out and they score that way. I don't know. If I'm placing a team like Tennessee who shot 30% in the entire year from 3, I'm not fouling. But again, if I'm facing a team that can knock it down, I am. But it's just Dick has to retire, man. It's too much.
It's pretty funny though, because I didn't know what the uproar was about. But usually when a couple people tweet it live, it's like he must have really messed up on something. But that's great. A late 3 ball that misses with an air ball. It's good.
Yeah, and funny because everyone kind of like everyone on Twitter knew that like if that's not Dick Vitale, it doesn't happen. Like,
yeah. And what happened, Jeff, if you're crazy like me and I have a bet on that game and I need to go to overtime, like I can't watch this and I hear Dick Vitale say they made the 3 and then I turn around and they didn't make the 3.
It's like you're in your kitchen, like you just
yes.
it's going to be done. You're like, oh, it's in.
We made the 3, yes, and you come storming in. You're like, wait a second, the score is the score not changed? Is the scorekeeper late here? No, he just missed that.
When I heard it live, I thought to myself, like, I think he thinks that went in, and I'm like, did that go in? And I was like, no, it didn't go in. It was pretty clear it didn't.
Holy cow, man!
But
that's interesting stuff.
Also, last things, finally, shout out to some of the small schools. Norfolk State, they're dancing. Nice win yesterday against Morgan. Also, Donnie. Texas Southern, what a win against Prairie View. That was another dispatching. Johnny Jones' crew, that was a roller. And shout out to our good friend, Donnie, Jason Radowitz, Hartford Hall.
Hartford finally got robbed last year, made it right back this year, man.
And shout out to South Philly, Tracy Carter, the kid from South Philly going to the NCAA tournament from Hartford. That's a big win for that group. John Gallagher, they've never been to the NCAA tournament.
Yep.
They're in now.
They show. You know what was interesting about that too, Jeff, is they showed the video of last year when it shut down, and he was so beside himself. Like, how do I explain this to my kids? They work so hard. Good for them going right back the next year, man. That's good stuff.
Yeah, it's really, you got to put all this stuff, that thing. You know, look at West Kentucky, prime example. How many times has Rick Stansbury went to the final? Like,
yeah,
guy never wins. It's crazy.
No.
It's like
got a lot of talent too. Yeah, you figured he would at least got to one of those. So what do you want to do, big man? Want to hit some of these games and then just open it up for some
before we do that, let's get in quickly to what team for the NCAA tournament. I had some people ask me about this. What happens if someone gets coronavirus? And I was not understanding it. So they're all going to Indianapolis. It's a bubble.
Mini bubble. Yeah, that's almost a modified bubble, as they call it. Yeah, go ahead.
And from what I understand, the rules are very, kind of solid. Like we don't even want you going out for a jog or something. Like stay in the room, stay in everything.
Like the soccer bubble when they had it for the MLS. Like you got your own floor, you stick with your team, you eat with your team, you practice with your team. It's a pretty good protocol they have going on.
Sure. Now, a couple of the rules, according to the NCAA, teams are required to have 7 consecutive days of negative test results in order to play. The 7-day test protocol includes people in the entire travel party, 34 people. Programs can elect to travel in smaller groups if some members of the school's party are ruled out due to positive tests. Quickly, members of the party who are held back will still have to meet the required protocols. So in the case of like Virginia, Donnie, a team that missed the ACC tournament, they'll play either Friday or Saturday in the first round of the tournament. Virginia has enough time to produce 7 consecutive days of negative tests, but the deadline is closed. So in addition to the test, each team must have 5 eligible players to participate. So that's going to throw in a different wrinkle. There might be a team, Donnie, that has 6 players. It's going to have to play in the NCAA tournament with 6 guys. So different kind of relevant, weird situations. But
here's what I want to say also, because we've seen what we call the blue check marks over the past year come out of nowhere and just say, if the Big Ten football plays, like every kid is going to die on the field and we can't have that on our hands. So we saw what a fallacy that was. If I see one person retweet it's about the money, like, because this is probably decent chance it's going to happen. Let's use any team, Jeff, that makes it in the tournament. Your boys, St. Bonaventure, right? Let's just say they win today, they get in the tournament. I think they're in anyway. But they're down to 6 players that are eligible to play, which they really play with the entire season anyway. If you ever watch St. Bonaventure, not a deep team. If I hear one person say that that's up for injury for the kids because they only have 6 players, I don't know if you've ever grown up playing basketball in the schoolyard for 9 hours at a time with the same 5 and just going head to head, but you will see that tweet say, it's a shame these kids have to play because it's all about money and there's only 6 of them that are eligible. Are you kidding me? Are you kidding me?
And that's
coming. It's coming.
So true. It's so true. And also, if I also hear this ever, well, they're tired coming in.
Oh,
you don't think North Texas was tired yesterday?
And also preface it, Jeff. This isn't tired in December. We're on our 4th straight game. This is you're living out your dream going into the tournament. So when they tell you in the locker room you only have 6 guys to play, you know what those 6 guys do? put their jacket on. Let's go out there and ready to rock. I can't wait to play this game. But other people will say, Jeff, they're kids. They're not getting paid. They could get injured if they play this game
today. They don't have to play. They're getting a free scholarship.
I know.
Most kids don't. Do you know how many people have student debt in this country?
Oh, no, dude, you're preaching to the choir. You know me. You've done these shows many times already.
Listen, I do agree. If there should be some sort of stipend, but we have to remember they're getting a free education. Most kids have they don't have that.
And you know what the best part about it is, Jeff? At no time did they could, like, let's just say when you're back in high school, they ever come to your high school and go, you know what? That kid you got playing basketball, Jeff Nadu, he's going to Michigan. You go, I don't want to go to Michigan. No, you have to go to Michigan because I just told you to. Yeah. It's not, you don't have to go. You don't. But again, we could talk about this also, for the next 3 hours.
One other wrinkle here, and this is fascinating because you brought up Duke earlier.
Yeah.
They have what's called contingency plans.
Yeah.
Where if a team is unable to play, so let's say 9 players
on Wednesday. Yes, like what Jeff's talking about is the tournament's tonight. We know who's in. Everybody's in. Wednesday, a breakout on a team. Go ahead.
Let's say, knock on wood.
Yeah.
We've talked about Texas. Let's say in the dog pile after the game, they all got coronavirus. Because in Texas, if you noticed, it was like a regular game. There were people everywhere.
Oh, it's different everywhere. You're right.
They have what's called contingency plans.
Yeah.
Who do you think is going to be at the top of the contingency plan list? Duke. They're definitely
like it's Jeff. We're maddening people. Isn't there a little part of you that would love it for content purposes, Duke to parachute in on a Wednesday? Yeah. How much fun would our show be?
No, I'm telling you, that's what's going to happen. They're basically going to work it out, and they're going to say, listen, here's what we'll do. There'll be some phantom coronavirus teams. Like, we'll make just one, and they'll be the scapegoat here.
But Jeff, let's take it another step further. How about like the SWAC, the MEAC, right? How about if that's the team, and then Duke parachutes in as a 16 seed? I almost need it to happen. Like, I don't want it to happen because these kids deserve to get their shine in the tournament. But my goodness, and then can they play it off, Jeff? Is this look? We have to pick one team out who's ready. So not necessarily if Duke was the most deserving. Let's just say there's 5 teams above them. But we chose Duke because they were ready and available with the means to get there in time with private jets and have everything ready to go. That's like the designated survivor. Like they send one guy down in a bunker while the whole Congress meets. Like they're sending Duke down into the bunker. And if anything happens, no matter who's better, Duke parachutes into the tournament.
Now, there are rules to this, Tommy. According to the rules, if a team is to withdraw, the first order of business to make sure all 31 conferences are represented in the tournament. If a program from a conference with only one team withdraws, then the team will be replaced with a team from the same conference. So if Abilene Christian has to withdraw, Nichols will be the team, I guess. You know?
Oh, okay. Because I wanted to like take it that maddening step further. Like there's one team because that. You don't leak those sources out unless there's smoke, there's fire, where it's like saying, hey, if you need a team, we'll just be the designated team. Like you have to call around like, hey, are you ready? Oh, no, actually, these kids got sent home. Or are you ready since you just missed it? No. Yeah.
What if, let's say, like a bubble team? Like let's say St. Louis gets in.
Yes.
St. Louis could be the team because it would be bubble teams from that. Like it would just be replacements. Duke will definitely be the top replacement school. If they do not get in, they will be the top replacement school, guaranteed.
We need it, man. I need to be watching this show tonight, Jeff, and I need you to be popping on live on Twitter with a reaction video that Duke got like a 9 seed out of nowhere, and just the meltdown might be worth it, even if they don't deserve it. For us, for content, it will be wonderful, man. I actually would really. I
agree.
It.
Let's get into the games.
All right, let's get into the games now, Jeff. We're going to get into these games. Jeff gave out another winner yesterday. So if we look, I like see because I all lost yesterday. I like the whole spectrum of the show. 2-0, 1-1. So we're still above 500 in this. But I have a game that I like today. I'm sure Jeff does as well. But a lot of people ask, where can I get down? Where's the best sports book? What's easy and accessible? Perfect, man. And FanDuel. Check this out. If you haven't done so yet, if you're watching the last 7 days and not getting down on FanDuel yet, where you been? But they're offering a $1,000 risk-free bet. If you sign up today, you can use it on any one of the college basketball games or futures market throughout the month of March. Sign up using the link below. Must be 21 or older to enter and be present in one of the legal online betting states: New Jersey, Pennsylvania, Illinois, Colorado, Indiana, Michigan, Virginia, Tennessee, West Virginia, or Iowa. See full terms at the FanDuel Sportsbook website. And remember to gamble gamble responsibly, and you'll be able to gamble responsibly, Jeff. 5 games on the card today. But I know me and you, we look at FanDuel all day long. Easy, accessible, smooth, so many things to bet on. I enjoy the site.
Yeah, one of the best in the business. So many options, live options, great promos, great everything. Make sure you check out FanDuel if you're in the participating states, New Jersey, Pennsylvania, wherever you are. FanDuel is number one. Let's get into it, Danny. We got 5 big-time championship games.
Good. Let's settle in. Let's have some fun here. Loyola Maryland starts right at jump at noon. And again, it's a one-bid league. Whoever wins this game, hey, Colgate had a great year. They don't win today, Jeff. They're not going to the tournament. If we take a look at the number.
I actually have heard people say that, not me, but
over Duke, Jeff.
I've heard people say Colgate should still get a bid if they don't get in because they've been that dominating. No, I haven't heard that, but I'm surprised we haven't because this net rating is out of hand, and Colgate is top 10 in net.
Yes. There's a lot of parameters out there, but one parameter that shows Colgate's probably going to get in, Jeff, the ultimate parameter. Vegas setting a -10 here at FanDuel. 146.5 is the total in this game. Obliteration versus Bucknell. Did whatever they wanted. Will they do whatever they want today? Or is this one of those games where you had a little bit of a break, you're smelling yourself a little bit? Or is this just Colgate's game wire to wire? Because when I always look at in conference play, Jeff, when you have a team number 1 by far in your conference offensively and number 1 defensively, that's hard to shake off. So a 10-point number, even though I always believe in the adage at this point, take the points and pray. What are we looking at here in this breakdown between Loyola Maryland and Colgate? Yeah,
important to mention, this is at Colgate. This is Cotterell Court. This is at a home gym.
Yes, correct.
Donnie, when I broke this conference down back when it started in January, Colgate was my pick. We have to remember last year they lost in the conference tournament. They had a great year, just like this year, and they fell on their face. And I talked about redemption in that, and that this team was the most talented team. But the team that I picked to be number 2 was Loyola Maryland. And Loyola Maryland, for most of the year, had a rough season.
And they haven't played this year also. Keep that in mind. Right. It's ridiculous.
They have not played. And Loyola Maryland, I think it's important to realize you cannot look at them from the season standpoint because they had a lot of COVID issues. They didn't get their full complement of players really until the end of the season.
Yeah.
Cam Spencer came back. Their guards were all healthy. Jalen Andrews started playing more. And we've seen this team has been able to find a way to win against 2 good teams, Navy and Army. One was the 1 seed. So when you look at Loyola Maryland, they're finally healthy, which is huge. They're a very good offensive team, good rebounding group. They get to the free throw line. They're a team that can create offense, and they have a pretty good pressure press that can turn you over. But, Donnie, Santi Aldama is the story for Loyola. I wrote in that piece at the beginning of the year when I picked Loyola as a sleeper. To me, he's the best player in this conference. I made a point of saying that he's too good for this conference. He could surely play at high-level basketball. He's going to the NBA. He's that good. He's a matchup nightmare against these types of teams. And I actually had Bucknell the other night. I played the dog, and I got crushed. But when I see 10 with a team that's healthy in a championship game, I don't have any issue in taking Loyola. If I had to play this is a tough game to play because you don't want to fake Colgate. I respect Langle, but Tavares Hardy and Loyola are healthy now. I think they're a pretty good defensive team, and I think they'll be in the right spots. I think Aldama will be a good matchup against the bigs for Colgate. I think this is a few too many points. This kind of reminds me a little bit of that Houston-Memphis game yesterday. I can see a situation where I think Loyola is good enough defensively. I think they can do enough offensively to hang around. They are what they are, Donnie. They're a very dependent, downhill, 2-point offense. They don't settle for threes. They want to get it to Aldama and create off the dribble, kick it out to shooters and that kind of stuff. I'm going to agree. I think Loyola gets it done. I think 10's a little high.
And also, when you take a look at, you try to just factor in on conference play, but it's not an even round-robin conference schedule. So when you equate it like on Ken Palm, let's just say adjusted efficiency on defense for the country, Colgate's 126. But guess what, Jeff? Loyola Maryland is 145, not that far behind. They need to make shots to stay in this basketball game. But it's a good point you bring up. It's technically a home game here for Colgate, and that's always plays well. And I know a lot of people will watch that Bucknell victory like, look, I'm not stepping in front of this, but it is a 10-point number. If you're looking to bet this game, game, Jeff, and let's just say you say, I like, Loyola Maryland getting to 10 points. Would you still like them better in the first half? Let's just say, I'm not looking at the number, but I assume it's probably around like 6. Is it one of those where they got to be in the game in the first half to have a chance in the second half? Or if they're down 12 points, 13 points in the second half at jump, do you still expect them to get inside the 10? How do you expect the flow of this to be?
I think in this situation, it's interesting because, for instance, yesterday with the North Texas game, looking back on it, I should have took the first half because the legs were the worry. North Texas had played so many, but this is different. I mean, these teams haven't played many games in many days. So I don't think – I think for me, there's not a ton of value in this number because I put it at like 10.5, 11. You're going to be on the edge of your seat. I don't think this is a game where Colgate's usually a team that wins by 10. That's like what they do. I think a lot of people see the last game, but I don't know. I don't think you'd hurt yourself taking a first half. You're always going to get the energy right out of the gate, and you just kind of hope Colgate has the ability to be up 32-17 quick. I trust Loyola Maryland. I think with Cam Spencer, they're a different team. He provides an element that they didn't have for most of the season. I think 10's too many. I think this is like a 78-70 type of game.
How about this angle, Jeff? You talk about this a lot, right, with Loyola and Colgate. If you're taking the dog in the first half, and maybe there's a little bit of adage here, but Colgate is the favorite, right? They want to extend the game. The longer the game goes, the more opportunities they're going to get. They're going to say, we're better. You talk a lot about 2-foul participation. So if you're jumping in on Loyola, if Loyola gets 2 fouls on their best player, they're not sending him to the bench for 12 minutes in the first half. That's lights out. But look at Colgate, Jeff. You talk about this. 2-foul participation for Colgate. 306 in the country. Jordan Burns gets a couple quick fouls, goes to the bench. The advantage is now yours when in the second half he's going to play. In the first half, if he gets him with 11 minutes on the clock, Jeff, you might not see their best player for the rest of the half. Not the case with Loyola.
Yeah, that's an interesting point by you. And keep in mind, this is Loyola team that is very good at creating to get to the foul line.
There you go.
Top 70 in free throw attempts, the field goal attempts. Also, keep in mind, I think this is something you want to point out in this game. Loyola Maryland, very slow from a tempo standpoint. They're going to work possessions.
Yep.
I think that we've talked about it in the NFL with the Chiefs. The best way to beat the Chiefs is keep the ball out of Patrick Mahomes' hands, right? And we saw it a lot yesterday in championship games where sometimes the best offense is keeping just, possessions out of the other team's hands. So all that stuff will combat. I think Loyola's kind of on the improve. I just worry, Donnie, this game has a weird thought to me that this is the New Mexico State Grand Canyon. New Mexico State had finally started to seemingly figure it out. They were through the COVID issues, and then they just got slapped by the best team in the conference. That's the worry here, but I think Loyola, there's just not going to be enough possessions in this game for it to be a 20-point win. It's not a best bet to me, but if I had to play it and we bick every game, I would take the Greyhounds.
Yeah, I would of all 5 games today, for me, this number, both on the total and also the side, was probably the hardest for me to decipher. Yeah. The next 4 games a little bit easier, but that's the great part about having 5 games. Jeff. It's not like the Super Bowl, or it's not like the March Madness final, where hey, got one game, got to pick a side on this.
Just know, one thing other. That's a good point. Just know you are not on the square side here if you're taking Loyola. These people that never have seen Colgate in their life are going to bet Colgate today. Saw a lot of that this weekend. People just blindly betting a team because it's on TV. This is the only game on at noon. People want to be involved and say, I had Colgate. They're a wagon. I never seen them, though. I think Loyola is sharp here. So
Jamal Ware says Colgate -5.5 first half with a question mark. Now, you don't have to answer that question, but here's the question I want to ask you that compounds that. The winner, the team that's covering at the half, Jeff, did they just run away with it or stay inside the number if you're the dog here? What are you thinking? Like, is there a chance that, hey, Loyola Maryland is up at the half and doesn't win the game? Or if Loyola's up at the half, you know what? They're going to cover and probably with a good shot here.
No,
Should we see a flip-flop?
I think this game is probably pretty close in the first half.
Yeah.
Maybe it's 34-31 at the half.
Yep.
And it's seemingly close. You're just going to have to see if Loyola just doesn't get run out over the final 6 minutes where teams generally pull away. But we haven't seen that in some of it. It's championship games. There's a lot more here and this is a conference that they didn't play many games this year. So there's not going to be tired legs, I don't think, in these kind of games. So, yeah, I don't know. That's a great question. I wouldn't have any interest in – I kind of want the full 10 points. I'll sit on the edge of my seat with the whole game.
How about this next game? This is a fascinating one because we always, even on the shows like last week, you say, hey, you guys didn't talk about that VCU St. Bonaventure game because everybody figures you play a semifinal game the very next day in the conference tournament is the championship. They took a week off, left Richmond where they were playing at VCU in the Siegel Center and then at Richmond in the Coliseum and just took this game and plopped it in Dayton. So now it's two neutral court teams a week out. And if we look at the numbers here with FanDuel 128.5, which is a low total, but not technically for this game, and a -3 number, which has been bouncing back this morning between 2.5 and 3. The one thing we do know, VCU, they're going to play some defense. You know who else is going to play some defense? St. Bonaventure. I've been going back and forth because I really like VCU and the way they set up. But St. Bonaventure has the ultimate eraser. And if you don't watch your Shuni play basketball, VCU is not a great threat from three-point range. They like to shoot them, yes. But I've watched enough St. Bonaventure basketball, Jeff, that the big man, and the same thing we looked at when Taco Fall was down with UCF, your shot is altered. You go into the paint, you better know where this kid is at because he can put up 10 blocks in a game, which when you're trying to get to the rack, that's really going to impede your process. My first initial reaction in this game, even though it's 128.5 and I usually like overs, I think this is a great defensive game here. You have a slow tempo in St. Bonaventure. Yes, VCU does like to push the pace, and VCU does foul. I got to tell you, I like VCU, but I'm leaning towards St. Bonaventure to win this game. But even more so, I do think the game has a chance to stay under that 128.5, and that's the way I'm looking here.
Well, it's funny you say that. I agree.
Oh,
I think this is a first. I think this is going to be first to 60. Like I think this is a sloggy rock fight, and you said a great point about Osunniyi, who I think is one of the most important players in the country. If he goes out with fouls, it's going to be a concern for Bonaventure because they are not a deep basketball team. They don't have a ton, and he is so good down low. He alters everything. He basically says, if you come into the lane, you better watch out because I'm going to swat your shot.
Yes.
He alters everything, jump shooters and everything. And they're so good on the perimeter as far as just closing out and that kind of stuff. And we know that VCU is very guard dependent. They're big on turnovers and creating that havoc. But Donnie, they're a team that weirdly enough, you have to play out your possessions on offense. You're going to have to work for your shot because they are really dynamic offensively. This is also a Bonaventure team that doesn't turn it over. Kyle Lofton is –
yeah, he's not getting turned over in the backcourt. No.
So it's going to be long, drawn-out possessions with Bonnie. VCU, Donnie, weirdly enough, when it comes to winning this game, I mean, I thought getting 3 was a lot, frankly. I
opened up at 1.5, by the way. Now sits at 3 at FanDuel.
Yeah, I like Bonnie a lot. I want them to win. I'm a big Mark Schmidt fan. I like Osen a lot, but 3 is a lot of points in this kind of game. We have to remember these two teams played twice this year. VCU won one of the games.
Yep.
The other game was that, if you remember, that 45-14 second half. Yes. But remember, VCU was up 40-25 at the half. I mean, they were up 50. So for 30 minutes out of the 40 minutes, they dominated St. Bonnie. They have the best player in the court. I don't care what you say. Bones Highland is the best player.
Awesome. I love him. I love Bones Highland. And he's healthy. He was nicked up a little bit during the conference tournament. He got a week off. So they're going to have some fresh legs. But also keep in mind, I always look at Dayton. I mean, outside of last year, Dayton's basketball team was tremendous, top to bottom, maybe even had a chance to win the championship. But tight rims in Dayton, neutral court, week off. Yep, fresh. I understand they're fresh, but a full week off here, maybe you don't get into rhythm here. So I saw a lot of people, say the first half unders, and even Naeem saying first half under 60. This is one of those games where maybe they feel it out over the first couple minutes here. But no question about it, they both can play some defense here. But I think your point is valid. When I look at VCU, who they really beat up on, if you turn the basketball over, don't have athletic backcourts, they can really get to you. Kyle Lofton, you hand the ball to him down in the corner. He dribbles it up himself. Double team, who cares? I'm going right through it. And that's what you have to look at in these key situations here, because at the end of the game, VCU is still going to foul in the backcourt. They can make free throws. We'll see if it happens, but I'm excited for this game, and I'm excited for an under. I like the under.
Yeah, again, I think it's probably, first to 60. And I think if I'm looking at who wins this game, I think it's a sloggy rock fight. Again, it's right down to the final possession or two. I think points will be at a premium. If you're going to give me 3 points, I'll be honest, I'll take the best player in the court. I want Bonnie in, and I'm rooting for this team, and I think they win, but I think it's probably like 62-59, 62-60. I think it's a low-scoring game. I think you and I are on something here with the under.
Yeah, I completely agree with that because usually, hey, tempo, they can get out and they got scores on both sides. But I just look at it as a conference tournament championship game, neutral court, where two teams can get after it. And I just always go back to that feeling where the tight rims in Dayton, where you're forcing VCU to shoot from the outside. And where does VCU usually get their bonus points, Jeff? They scramble in the offensive end, meaning they put up a jump shot, they can get 2 and 3 rebounds. I don't know if that's going to happen against St. Bonaventure. They're going to erase those second chance points, which VCU needs, and also erase those points where VCU pressures you into turnovers that turn into 2-on-1 baskets and layups the other way. This is a fun game, gets going at 1 o'clock, but that's the way I see it here. How about the SEC game today,
Keep in mind, Donnie, one other thing. In 2 games this year against VCU, St. Bonnie's, 9 for 29 from 3. That's 31%. Yes. Not good. This is the team that was the best in the conference, I believe, in 3-point percentage. So, if you can get out and close out, you see, they become really kind of non-productive offensively.
Yes.
And I just think this is a tough matchup for both offenses. I'm going to agree with you on the under.
Yeah, these two teams should be here in this game, and this is what we appreciate with the A-10 tournament. So, and Johnny asked, 2-bid. I think it is a 2-bid league. I think both of these teams are in, Jeff.
Oh,
regardless of today.
Yeah, I think they're both in for sure.
Yep. So let's get on to the SEC, Alabama, LSU. And I saw you talk about yesterday. It's nice to have a coach where you can outcoach another team. And that happened yesterday with LSU getting the victory. Today, looks like we're going to get a high-scoring tilt. But again, we're on a neutral court. It's a couple days in. I'm an over player, and I got some reasons on a team total that I do like today, Jeff, in this game between LSU and Alabama. This tip's at 1 o'clock down in Nashville. Two teams with tempo. Alabama, great offense, great defense. Sort of a slugfest yesterday with Tennessee. That's not really going to be the case today. LSU can score at a much more higher level, to say the least, than Tennessee would be. Tennessee is an ultimate slowdown team, play great defense, actually number 2 in the SEC, Jeff, during conference play and defense. Not the case with LSU today, but that is a high total. As I take a look at FanDuel, opened up at 157.5, now sitting at 158. Alabama, a 6.5-point favorite after opening up at 5. I don't like the side, but here's what I'm looking at here, Jeff, for a team total. And that team total is with Alabama. 2 games they played this year, 78-60 and 105-75. Now, the 2 concepts that I'm looking at here is how Alabama fared against defenses in the bottom half of the SEC. That means a team ranked 8th or lower. 9 games they played in conference play this year, Jeff, 86.5 points. So if I take a look also on top of it, how about some teams with tempo? Forget about the teams that walk it up court. I want to know how Alabama played against the top teams in conference in tempo play. 11 games there, Jeff, averaged 85.7 points per game during those games against high numbers. And if we take a look, LSU is 9th overall in conference in defense and also 6th overall in tempo. Alabama, the top tempo team in conference. I think Alabama scores today, Jeff. Put up 43 points yesterday against a good Tennessee team in the second half. It's a high number. It's a title game, which you usually lean unders. I'm going to take a team total here as my best bet, which we'll recap at the end of it. Over 82 points for Alabama. I think we get points here, but I think Alabama can get the 40 in each half against LSU. I want to watch it play out. Your thoughts today in the SEC championship game, Jeff?
Yeah, in both games, the regular season was pathetic. Alabama destroyed LSU in both games. I think by 18 and by 30. I think they averaged 91 this year against LSU. Yeah, I'm not buying LSU's defensive improvements. They were destroyed in both games, and I'm not buying what they're doing. By the way, Donnie, that LSU-Arkansas first half yesterday that I mentioned,
yes,
that was an awful beat. Over 77. Donnie, it was 36-32.
I know.
3 minutes left in the first half. Didn't go over. It pushed.
Wildness.
Disaster. This is a tough game because I do think LSU has improved. I think giving them 6.5, 7 is dangerous.
Yes.
Because I don't like Alabama to score. I agree, but I think LSU could score as well. I think Cameron Thomas is really dynamic. You know, I don't want to do this, but I'm going to go back to the well. I think the pace is there in this game. If I had to play it, over 74.5 in the first half, I think you get that first, one team gets to 40. It's like 40-36 or something.
Like all you needed to me in that game, because you're right, because I looked at that as well. All you need is a decent start. You just can't have a 6-4 game at 14 minutes. Right. If you have a decent start and the tempo will be there for the chances, if the shots are going down, I completely agree with that look.
I mean, at the 10-minute mark, Donnie, I just want to point this out. At the 10-minute mark of the first half yesterday in LSU and Arkansas, it was 31-24.
Yes.
And it didn't go over 76.5 or 77.
That's crazy, man.
55 points.
Yeah. That's one of those where you're sitting back and you just see hey, they can go a couple minutes without scoring and still be fine. Then you go, they're going a couple minutes with scoring, and now I'm not fine. Yeah, I hear you.
They scored 54 points in 10 minutes and scored 22 points in the second 10 minutes.
And you should get more points in the second 10 minutes because the 1-and-1s usually kick in. Yeah. That's crazy, baby. Crazy.
Why? Wild. The only other beats that were worse, Danny, this year were those bad beats on Van Pelt where you needed 1 point over the final 5 minutes and you didn't.
And they're missing 1-and-1s and wide open dunks. Yep, sure.
But I don't think you're going wrong with taking any Alabama team. I mean, this offense is nasty. It's going to be downhill. A lot of buckets at the rim. LSU is a disaster on defense. Disaster. It's a tough game. It really is. I think Alabama will win. I don't know. I want to say LSU could score enough points. Is this like an 84-79 type of game?
I feel it. I'm hoping it's a closer game, right? I hope nobody runs away, but you get that good tempo because I think Alabama's going to win the game. So if they're up a couple points with 2 minutes to go, I want that bonus surge in case. But I would be shocked. I always like to look at games where I'd be shocked. Do I be shocked if this game is 71-68? Absolutely. So the only way I can look at this is by saying both of these teams can get into the 70s, which gives you an honest look at A, the over, and B, the team totals. I just don't see Alabama going cold. This isn't a team where LSU, you're right, downhill game. They're not going to lock you down on defense. They're not going to walk the basketball up the court. These two teams are going to get after it, and sometimes all you can ask for are open looks. Both of these teams can score. That's the way I look at it.
Yeah, gun to my head, I'm going over 74.5 in the first half here in LSU and Alabama. And I want to tell everyone out there, thank you for watching. If you're on the replay, you're watching it live, thanks for checking out the show. Make sure you hit the subscribe button so you never miss another show. We're here every day. We'll be here tomorrow when the brackets are released. We're talking brackets. You want to get my opinion on the bracket. This is going to be your first chance to hear those opinions on the bracket.
Exclusive, Jeff. That's an exclusive right there for tomorrow.
Exactly. Make sure you check it out. Ken's checking it, and he says, this show is solid. Lots of great analysis and info. These guys do not waste my time. Thank you.
Yeah, fun. That's why people are getting up with this. 175 people on a Sunday morning, Jeff, where it's a hour ahead of time, and they're up here loving it. We're enjoying it. We're having fun. And you know what's even bigger, Jeff? A couple hundred subs we picked up on Pickswise here on the YouTube channel this week. That's all you guys doing it, because as much as we come on here and say it, I can't push the button 500 times to get more subs in here. You guys do that.
It is not easy. And I'm going to tell anyone that thinks it is not easy to get people to watch you do something. It just isn't. I don't care how big you are. The biggest companies in the world struggle sometimes with views. You have to have retention, connecting content. We get people as the show goes on to stay in here longer and longer. There are people that watch this entire show. That's what's important, especially in this day and age, Dottie, where there's kids that have no attention spans at all. So
I don't have a great attention span, and I'm here the whole time.
Jake says, how much weight have you lost? You look great. 110 pounds almost. Thank you, man.
There you go. The big man melting down in front of our eyes. And we're already at the hour mark, but it's Sunday. We're feeling good here. Got 2 games to go. We're not rushing through the stuff. Let's get after it here, Jeff. How about this? And by the way, before we get done, Alabama, LSU, final prediction for you there. Because, again, I'm going to use my best bet, which we will rehash. I'm going Alabama's team total and FanDuel here at 82. What are you looking at?
Yeah, I'm going to say 40-36 at the half. I think it's first half over 74.5. I'll go back to the well with this. It was a terrible beat yesterday. Again, I think the pace is there. I think Alabama scores at will. And for you, it'll help if they get the 40+.
Yes.
I'm going to go first half over 74.5.
All right, let's keep going here. The American, the AAC, not the ACC, Cincinnati and Houston, obviously a big favorite here for Houston. If we set the table for you, Jeff, today, this game is 3:15 Eastern tip, 137.5. It opened as a total, a 2-point drop here at FanDuel to 135.5. Houston opened up as a 13-point favorite, now goes to 13.5. I know you're going to update some people here on some key injuries, which I'm actually surprised. I thought Wichita State before the game was going to win. And then in the second half, when Cincinnati's down a key component, I thought they should have walked to victory, and they didn't. Gutty win by Cincinnati, but you are leveling up today in this game versus Houston. I don't know what this is. Take the points and pray, 13.5. Houston's already in. Cincinnati has to play hard to get into the tournament. What are your thoughts on this game? Because this is a tough one for me to decipher. I think Houston should beat them up, but they don't need to beat them up,
Yeah, they don't, and that's kind of the issue here. But what's it up with? It's either Houston wins by 30 or they almost lose. Like that's kind of where Houston is, or they do lose.
Yeah.
I don't know. I think this is leveling up. You say level up is exactly kind of what I was thinking. Houston, if they can own the glass, they're going to own you pretty much. This is the toughest game on the card. It's just one of those games.
Houston should score on them, Jeff, right? Cincinnati. Like, they should be able to do whatever they want.
Yeah, and again, with them, the pace isn't always there, but it's all about efficiency, right?
Yep.
They're going to have plenty of opportunities, I think, on the glass to grab easy rebounds. They out-rebounded them, Donnie, in the first meeting, 44-24. It was 90-52. They did absolutely whatever they wanted. And this is a team that I think, as you said, is leveling up. Offensively, they're on another level. Defensively, they're on a way another level.
Yes.
Or way higher level, not another level. I hate to be vague, but this is a really tough game. If I had to pick it, this game screams, 78-59 or something.
Yeah.
I think this is where.
How about no Keith Williams today, Jeff?
That's hurtful. When you're a team like Cincinnati, you need all the bodies you can get. I mean, Keith Williams is their guy. I mean, from an offensive rating standpoint, it's huge.
Yes.
And that's one of the reasons this number's so high. I mean, Keith Williams is a senior. He's a great wing player. He does a little bit of everything for them. And he's a guy that just excels at creating and getting to the line. So you're losing a guy like that. You also have David DeJulius back, who's not in game shape, I don't think. Donnie, if you remember, David DeJulius was at Michigan. He opted out at Cincinnati for the rest of the year and then decided he wanted to play again, and now he's back with the team. So I think they get run out over the final 10 minutes, and I think that Houston is going to pump them.
No, and that's the way I would go. Now, if you're taking a look, because we always like to use every opportunity to try to find an edge, because when we see those big double-digit lines, I immediately look towards the first half. I'm not going to be surprised today, Jeff. An emotional win by Cincinnati yesterday, down one of their better players over the first 20 minutes. Surprised to see Houston up double digits at the half, because that line is 7.5 at FanDuel for the first half here.
Yeah, that's a good one too. I mean, you kind of just say, hey, they're up 10 here.
Yes.
You just kind of bank on that. There's some people in the chat talking about day after a war, or Johnny's talking about a war with Memphis. I mean, it's a championship game. Like Memphis is Memphis. They beat Memphis. They moved on from Memphis. I hate that argument. Like, these teams are not just going to fall asleep because they had a tough game yesterday. For a lot of people, like, I don't think people realize, like, these kids play tons of AAU basketball where you might play 2 games in one day. I mean, these are some of the most conditioned athletes on the planet. So I don't think that's going to be you're just using your endurance and your kind of just that fire inside you to be good. After the North Texas game, I don't care at all about rest. Like, if you want something, you'll go out and win. Donnie, you think I want to go out and work out every day? I'm sore.
Yeah, exactly. And they're kids, man. Come on. Like, it's not football. Like, they're not playing 4 straight football games. It is basketball.
These are kids that have their eye on the prize. They're not worried about. Like, that's stupid. Not that that's stupid. I shouldn't say it's stupid, but like, I think that auxiliary stuff, I just don't think it matters too much. We can use these random angles of Creighton. Listen, Creighton didn't lose this day because they were tired, John.
Yeah.
They lost because they couldn't make any shots, and Creighton and Georgetown made all their shots. It wouldn't have mattered.
No, certainly wouldn't have mattered. It'll be interesting to see, but I think Houston should win this game comfortably. And there's Alex says, because we're talking about, Keith Williams not playing today. They don't release information, but just to give you a look of just over the past couple of days. Remember when Book Knight left the game against UConn? Oh, I don't think he's going to play. I don't know. Right after the game, the coach said, look, it was cramps. He should be okay tomorrow. That means he's playing. Keith Williams, after the game, they asked the coach, no update, no nothing from the medical staff. You know what that means, Chef.
Exactly. And you look at yesterday against, and that's how I can't believe they were able to win that game against
I couldn't either.
Wichita. You look at the previous 4 games for Keith Williams, 14, 16, 20, 19.
Big minutes guy, too. Big minutes guy.
Yeah. I mean, he plays, when you're looking in at his percentage of minutes, 68%. I mean, that's high. I mean, he has a top 20 conference minutes played. So, yeah, that's not a guy you want to lose, because that means someone else is going to have to step up against a really good team. And what Kelvin Sampson is going to do is say, look, this guy here, it's almost like a backup corner that comes in for an injured corner. You go right at him, Donnie.
Yes.
You're going right at that guy that hasn't played all year, right? So, yeah, I think Houston, this is the one blowout of the day, I think.
Yeah, we think we should get there. Last game of the day we'll talk about and save from maybe the best for last. Ohio State and Illinois going to tip at 3:30 p.m. from Indianapolis. If we look and set the table for this one, Jeff, rotation 657, 658. FanDuel, they've got some line movement here. Opened up with Illinois being a favorite, 5.5, Jeff. That's now at 6. But how about this move? 151.5 is the total. We're now down to 147.5 as we head in today. Some injury concerns here, if you want to say, for Ohio State. Yesterday worked out in their favor. Kyle Young with the concussion. Trust me, college basketball, if you got a concussion a couple days earlier, they can say whatever they want. Oh, he's questionable. He's not going to play today, so he's going to be out in this one. But now it's up to 3 straight wins in the Big Ten for Ohio State, coming in hot. Still down a tough player. But do you want to step in front of Illinois right now, Jeff?
No, absolutely not. I think there's nobody playing better basketball in America than them. No one. And, Donnie, this is kind of, for me, it's been a long season with Illinois, because I've waited for what is happening with them, because I knew they were capable of it. I've said all season, if they can get Curbelo and Adam Miller and Bazanishvili and all these auxiliary guys to step up, there's not a lot of teams that can beat them, because Coburn, when he wants to, is an elite big man. He made Ronnie Cycli Jr. look like Ronnie Cycli. It was like Shaq against Ronnie Cycli at times. You have to get physical with Luka Garza, and Kofi Coburn is a guy that can do that. Tsumu's, to me, the best guard in the country. He could be the best player in the country. He looks like the masked man. I mean, he looks crazy. He looks like a superhero. It's incredible. Yeah, look, I'm not only going to play Ohio State, not Ohio State, Illinois, but Illinois is my best bet. I think they take care of business here, and I think this is a game where no Kyle Young is going to be destructive.
Yes, because
Kofi Coburn. I mean, Dickinson did what he wanted yesterday. Kofi Coburn and those guys,
just a giant.
Yeah, it's going to be a difficult blow here. 87-81 in the first game. I think they won by 5 in the other. This is also, Donnie, a game where if you want to talk about rest, this could be the game that it really matters in. Ohio State has played a lot of long games. It's been drawn out. I think that, I'm not saying it's going to be a factor to why I'm picking this game, but it could come into play. Ohio State has had Illinois has had two pretty easy games as far as minutes are played. So, yeah, I think they take care of business and win by double digits here. I'm going to play Illinois to dispatch. I hate this Ohio State team defensively is horrible. Now, in fact, they're worse than Iowa.
Yeah, no.
From an offensive rating standpoint, they're worse than Iowa. So, yeah, Illinois is the play here. Can I get 5.5? Is that available? No, is it available?
Let me see what we got here through FanDuel right now. Looks like it's sitting at 6 currently here for us. So we'll see if it pops down through out there. But
I'll play the 6. That's fine. I'm thinking they're gonna win by double digits, so I'm gonna play that. Jamal Wareson, you taking them on a 6 or money line? I don't take money lines, man. You got to lay the points, bro. I don't play crazy money lines, bro.
What is the? Do we even have, hold on? There's certainly be a money line here. It's frozen for me for a second. Is it? Yeah, it's a little bit expensive on that end, though. But you're right. Ohio State's defense, 14 teams in the Big Ten, Jeff. They are 10th in efficiency, and they don't defend that well inside the arc, which is a real problem going against Illinois, Jeff. Because inside the arc, who's number one in the conference at scoring? That's Illinois.
Yeah, Illinois. So, and I said this yesterday, and I'll continue to stand by it. There's no metric for this, but Donnie, you ever see in a basketball game where teams just throw shots up and they go in?
Yes, correct.
There's no metric for that, but like luck factor and shots.
Ohio State's luck
factor.
Ohio
State's number one. I mean, they just throw shots up and they go in. And, I also think yesterday's game was kind of, I think, an inference into what was going to happen. If you know anything about Dwayne Washington, Donnie, he kills Michigan. Every time he plays Michigan, the kid doesn't miss. So I just don't think they're going to get the same breaks they did yesterday. I'm going to play Illinois here. I think they dispatch of an overrated Buckeye team and win the Big Ten and head into the tournament as a very dangerous 1 seed. Very dangerous.
Very, very nice. And also right now here, if you haven't got in yet on FanDuel, because we'll rehash here, my best bet is Alabama team total over 82 that I got before the show. Good for you folks. You can get 81.5 right now. So how about that?
If Mark is not respecting you, Donnie.
Look at that. Not respecting me at all, and that's fine, but that's for the good people. So when this game hits 82, you can all win, and I can sit back here and keep my money on the sideline. Talk about market not respecting me. Yesterday, Jeff, I had a 143. Game closed at 146.5. Market respected me, and I wanted to ask you the best question that we always get from a lot of people. It's better to beat the number than actually win the bet, Jeff. Do you believe in the strategy?
Listen, there's nothing
better. I beat it pretty good yesterday, and it beat the hell out of me.
There's nothing better than beating a number. It's I think one of the things about gambling that I see some of these people in this business that they'll just take a team. They don't even look at what number history they had. That they're getting the worst price, and they lose a lot of the time. That's why they don't win. But it is great to get CLV. If a team is -6 and you got them at -3.5, I mean that's incredible. But again, you can't take that and say, if you lose the game and they lose outright, you can't take the ticket to the counter and say, hey, ticket counter, I got great CLV on this game.
Let me at least get my money back. Yeah.
I don't know what that means. Did you win the game? Oh, no, then they'll laugh at you. It's laughable. You want both. You want to.
It feels good because Jeff is right. It feels very good when the market agrees with you.
Yeah.
But I've had way too many market agrees with me and I lose, and I don't feel the same as the market didn't respect me and I won. That feels a lot better to me. I don't care.
Yeah, no, listen, you want to get both. It's great to get a good number.
Yeah.
And I actually, Donnie, there are many games I don't bet because I don't get the best number. Yeah. I will not bet a number at the worst price, no matter what it is. I'm just on the wrong side. Johnny, enough. Please, Johnny. I mean, enough with this. No, we don't think tired legs played parts. I don't think that's important, Johnny. I hate to tell you.
Why would only one team have tired legs, though? So
exactly. Now, you and I, Johnny, if we put out there, we would probably have tired legs.
I would have tired legs, yes.
We're not conditioned.
No, I would not do well here. By the way, Jeff, condition here, 52 thumbs up. Thank you guys for that. And Jeff always says it as well. If you're watching on the replay, it's still there. The thumbs up, thumbs down button, and the subscription button. So hit all of those for us today. An hour and, way over an hour show today that we had fun doing here, Jeff. But I do want you to rehash here. Best bets. Again, I am on the team total here for the Alabama Crimson Tide at 82 right now. If you're watching on a replay at the time we're doing the show, it's actually 81.5. You can get in on the big man on campus with Illinois currently sitting at -6. So that's what we're on today.
Yeah, Illinois -6. I want to set the stage. Tomorrow we will hash out the brackets.
Yes,
next week
we'll
do the
futures.
Take your
updates.
Questions.
Yeah,
we always get a lot of questions. Who's this? Who's going to do this? Who's that? We'll do that. We'll start.
We don't have any games for a couple of days. We're going to come in here, have hot topics in college basketball, questions, all that. So,
well, keep in mind you will have some NIT getting started, which is important. I can break it down. I actually think there's some money to be made in those conferences because most people aren't worried about them. But, okay, that's that for us. We're back tomorrow, 9 a.m. Thank you for watching. Donnie's on Alabama team total 80.
Let's go. 82, Jeff.
82. I'm on Illinois -6. Y'all have a great night. Thanks for listening. Enjoy Championship Sunday.
Yes.
Enjoy Selection Sunday. We didn't have it last year, and we have it this year. You all have a great night. Thank you for listening. We'll see you Monday. We're breaking down the bracket.